Okay, another little conundrum on omniscience then. Some of you will have seen my video the 30th of May, the impossibility of omniscience, how Donald Rumsfeld disproves. God, it dealt with unknown unknowns, didn't it? If you haven't seen the video, watch it before you watch this one, please. It's a video that's worth watching, I think, and it's an argument. It's almost like a kind of sister. By the way, I know I've got a hat on. You don't need to tell me in the comments section on that one. Yeah, that's like a sister argument to this one. This one's moving on from that one. That one made the argument that, in my view, given the arguments that I made in that video, omniscience is an impossible characteristic for any agent to possess. But I want to suspend that disbelief in that possibility there. Let's just entertain for the moment that I got that wrong, that I was talking out my arse yet again, and that it is possible for an agent to be omniscient. So here's the question, that given those set of circumstances, and before I just tell you the question, let me tell you that these are both arguments that I made before in November 2009, stretching back all those months there, November 2009. But I made a bit of a mistake then. It was a little video, only a couple of minutes, not physically little, it was just not a short video, and I conflated both these two arguments. That seemed to cause some confusion, so I'm kind of recycling these arguments, which is good for the environment. After all, it's probably more environmentally friendly to recycle your arguments rather than to come out with new and original ones, so that's what I'm doing. But I conflated them then. I'm teasing them apart here. You've had that argument for the impossibility of omniscience. We suspend that now. We're going to suspend that, and I'm going to ask you, if omniscience was possible, how can a believer, how can anybody who believes in God differentiate between their God being genuinely omniscient and not being genuinely omniscient? How can you be sure, if you're a believer, that your God is a genuinely omniscient God? Because there seems to be at least three possibilities. The first possibility is that God is genuinely omniscient, and he knows he's genuinely omniscient, and when he reports his omniscience, everything is in place, everything is as it should be. But perhaps that's not the case. Perhaps he's deceitful, perhaps he's deceptive, perhaps God isn't omniscient. He knows he isn't omniscient, but he just wants to big himself up a bit. We could all imagine why a God would want to do that, can't we? Perhaps then there's the third alternative, that he's not bigging himself up, that he's not lying, that God genuinely believes himself to be omniscient, but he's just wrong. He's labouring under a misapprehension. He's erroneously proclaiming himself to be omniscient when he isn't. So those are your three alternatives. How can you be certain that it's the first and not either of the other two? I can see some of the arguments that's going to come back. Some of them will be on philosophical grounds. On philosophical grounds, Jim, we can ascertain it's the first one. We can deduce that it must be the first one. Perhaps like some kind of ontological argument, God's a perfect being, and a genuinely omniscient being is more perfect than a non-omniscient being. And I can kind of get that. But even if you make that kind of an argument, how do you know it's your God that that's applying to, and not some greater God or some other entity? How do you know that it's the God that's the direct creator of our universe, the God who's making these proclamations about what he is, about what he's capable of, this God who's making these moral diktats that we're supposed to subscribe to? How do you know that it's that entity, that it's that agent that is the genuinely omniscient one? So that's the question. How do you know that God's genuinely omniscient and not either deceitful or labouring under a genuine misapprehension? Okay, that's the argument. Thank you for watching this video, and bye for now.